Here we go. Let's go ahead and rock this thing in here, shall we? Looks like audio levels look okay. Let's go ahead and dial this up just a little bit. Okay, checking in. Here we go. All right. Got me. Took me a second to get everything squared away. Saw you all checking in. Good evening to you. Karen checks in live on YouTube. Looks like we've got a couple folks on Twitter, and then the bulk of you hanging out in Facebook land. Good evening to all of you. Rachel checks in first. Howdy. For those of you brand new, what we'll do, I'll just kind of say hi. We'll check in for a minute, and then we'll get into the live recording of episode 268. West of Ann Arbor, Joyce checks in, and then Robin checks in from Florida. So I saw Laura checking in. Ann is here. Good evening to you. Jennifer, hello. Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Christy checks in. Cheryl's not going to lie. Not going to stay long. I need my sleep. Dude, get it. I have no issue with you choosing sleep over this. Sleep should always come first. Michael checks in from Florida. Good evening, sir. How are you? Connie says hello. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kevin checks in. Dina's here. Wanda's here. Julie from Napanee, Indiana. Kitty from Oklahoma. Good evening to you. Jan from Illinois. Louise checks in. Let's see. Betty is here from Idaho. Good evening to you. Lori says, hey. Connecticut. Maria checks in. Susan checks in from California. Just what I needed. Just what I needed, too. Always good to hang out with you. Rachel, just north here, up in Valpo. Good evening to you. Glenda says, I'm ready for this. Northern Michigan checks in. Judith there. Jessica checks in from Los Angeles. Good evening to you. Good to see you again, for sure. Parlett, Ohio is there. Cheryl, good evening to you. Louisiana. Jennifer checks in. Rhonda from Fort Campbell. Though I think I have to take a little time out on that one. Rhonda, after, I'm going to get my math wrong. 25 years, 1 day, 3 hours, 15 seconds. Rhonda hangs up her military uniform. The thing that I thought was the coolest thing, and I'm going to overshare here, Rhonda, so sorry, but you're going to get it. The thing that I think was the coolest about Rhonda retiring from the United States Army is that she put, after 25 years, so many hours, so many days, she retires in the same sized uniform that she joined in. Folks, that's a pretty big deal for those of you who don't track that, right? So congratulations to you on your retirement. Truly, what you've done for this nation is incredible. So thank you for 25 amazing years. So awesome. Very good. Good to see you. Lene checks in from Fort Worth, Texas. Rachel says, I think Fat Dad knows just when I need to pick me up to stay focused. I do it for me too, right? We all do. We'll talk about that in a second. So I got a great episode squared away here, so you're going to like that. I think that's going to tie right into this episode as well. Let's see. Michelle said, I need to pick me up. Really struggling these past 2 days. Well, cool. We'll hang in there. We're gonna get you one. Liz says, loved your interview on the Y experience yesterday. Yeah, very nice. I enjoyed it too. It was really cool. They called me and said, hey, would you be on the show? I said, of course I would. And we finally were able to coordinate it and get it done. And so, yeah, you got to hear it. So I appreciate you guys all going over there to hear it. It's not my show, of course, so it didn't get released in my feed. But you guys found it anyways, which was very cool. If you can't find it, I did share it on the Facebook page. On my Facebook page, you can at least see the video and the replay. Anna checks in from Tallahassee. Jill is here. Let's see. Carolyn, good evening to you from Noblesville. Tracy from Delaware. Welcome back, Mischief. Yep. Man, we are getting close. So Rhonda just retired. I'm next. I think I'm next in this list. And man, once I get those 8 hours back in my day, life should be significantly different. So yeah, Jamie, I got you for sure. Taint, Texas. Emily is here. And Valerie checks in from the Villages. Hey, my mom's in the Villages. I don't know if my mom's online or not, but my mom lives in the Villages. So very fun. Very cool. New follower from Pennsylvania. Hello, Sarah. Good evening to you. Thanks for being here. So what we'll do, we'll just kind of hang out for a couple more minutes. We'll do 268 live. You'll get to watch that. And then, of course, 268 will make it to the app. It'll make it everywhere. But you can watch it here live and interact with us for a little bit first. So we're live on Facebook, live on Twitter, and live on YouTube right now at the moment. So very fun. And then Jennifer says hi from Austin. Been a while. And Liz from Massachusetts. Good evening to you. Pamela, Colorado Springs, is in the house. Barbara makes us international out of Canada. Good evening to you. And then Cheryl, number 3 here. Hope I can stay awake too. Yeah. Jennifer says the Village is America's favorite. I don't know the jingle, but I've heard the jingle. I just forget how it goes, so I can't sing it. But yeah, it is America's favorite little hometown. I've been there more than once. It's a cute little place. I get it, you know. Happy hour every night, right? So anyway, cool beans. So yeah, episode 268. I got a little bit to catch you up on too. Let's see what I want to share here. I don't know what we got. We got a lot going on, really. Got an awful lot going on, which is it's exciting. Keeps me busy. You guys saw that throughout the first pitch at a baseball game on Friday. Flew out to Charlotte to talk to 1,100 airmen on Saturday. Came back for prom Saturday night. Went back to work Sunday morning, and then last night and then tonight we had yearbook celebration at the high school. So been a little busy, but it's good. Busy's good. So, all right, let's go ahead and do this thing early. I think a lot of you are ready. I'm ready. We'll get this thing recorded. That way you guys can catch it in the app in the morning. We'll hit 3 million downloads this month. I think that's kind of exciting. I'm pretty excited about it. Audio. I think the audio levels look okay. Test. Here we go. Yeah, because I sometimes I get yelling into the microphone, and that's not good. So I like to talk loud. I'm a loud person, right, Megan? Right? I'm a loud person. So very fun. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So thanks for guys all for being here. Laurie says, is Megan graduating? I hope so, but not till next year. Megan's a junior this year, so yes, she will be graduating, but no, not this year. She'll wait till 2000 class of 2020 is her deal. So Debbie checks in from Rockford, Illinois. Good evening to you. Jessica says, yeah, that's amazing, Rhonda. I agree. That's joining in an small short is a joining in that size and then having the exact same size when you 25 years later. Incredible. Yeah, we just had prom here last week, so very fun. All right, let's go ahead and do this, shall we? Let me go ahead and let me just adjust the lights here. I forgot to do that earlier. Let's see. It should change. The color should change just a little bit. There we go. A little bit better color, I think, on the lights. And then one more setting, and then we're there. So, all right, cool. So episode 268. Let's go ahead and do this. Cheers, shall we? I like the water. Let's go ahead and do this. Is Kernel water, brought to you by the Kernels in the Patreon community. So go ahead and cheers. Whew. I don't know if you can tell, but look how the bottle is so condensated. That was cold. Ooh. I try and take it out in time, but sometimes I forget, and it just becomes very, very, very cold. Woo! But we're done. Woo! Anna says just had some seltzer water. Very nice. Let's see. All right, cool. Episode 268 is a good one. I yell into the microphone too much. All right. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm ready. 268 coming up. And we're recording, so that's good news. So for those of you who often remind me, we're good. We are recording this episode. Probably, I might have forgotten today. I don't know. Whew. Are you ready? I'm ready. Get some room here. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Hello there. Welcome to episode 268 of WhysAdvice. It's always good to hang out with the pre-show gang, live on Facebook, live on live on Twitter, live on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Quick little update as to where I've been. I was out in Charlotte speaking on behalf of Operation Fat Dag. Had an opportunity to talk to 1,100 airmen in the Charlotte, North Carolina Air National Guard. I was a part of a wingman day where we just talk about fitness in general. Had a great conversation with that group. They invited me out there. It was a crazy day. Flew out earlier in the morning. I left the house at 5 a.m. on a 5 a.m. departure. Landed at 6:38. Was on stage at 8 and back in the airport at 10 a.m. What a crazy day. Thank you. Here's a plug. Thank you, American Airlines, for being on time that day. That made that whole day possible. Came back in time for Megan's prom. So everything worked out good, but it was an amazing opportunity to stand on stage in front of 1,100 people, tell my story, document my journey, and say, hey, you know what? You can do this too. And if this journey doesn't relate to you, then find a friend, find a wingman who it does, and help them. That's what this whole thing is about. This wellness thing is about getting you in the best place you can be, finding your wingman, getting them to come with you, and living happy, healthy lives. So, again, Charlotte, thank you guys for having me out there. Truly, truly my honor to have that opportunity. So thank you very, very much. I want to open this show. This email comes out of New Jersey, and it comes in from Gino. And Gino says, hey, Mike, I'm a 54-year-old man who stands a little under 6 feet tall. I've been on WW for 9 weeks now, and I'm down over 50 pounds. Well, it's not really hard to lose weight for a guy my size and weight. I still got about another 120 pounds to reach goal. The most I've ever lost was 165 pounds, and, well, yeah, I put it all back on. I'm doing well losing weight once again, and almost every time I weigh in, the person does it that tries to congratulate me. I normally tell her, yeah, I can lose weight. I've done it plenty of times. Congratulate me next January if I'm still on the program. That's why I joined. Someone mentioned your podcast early on, and I started listening. I like the themes that you push. They make sense. Don't eat more points than you have. You don't lose weight by accident. Beware of complacency. Yeah, all right, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but more to the point, not only do they make sense, but they help. Thanks. Honestly, there are times when your positivity and your cheerleader-like attitude can annoy me, but deep down, I know that's my issue, not yours. Now, we all need cheerleaders in our lives. I blame it on being a guy and being brought up old school. I am much more comfortable hearing you yell when you're out of points, stop eating points, and there is no hope, there's just do. Again, paraphrasing on the last one. I cringe a little every time you say, I believe in you. It just goes against my grain, despite intellectually understanding what you mean. So yeah, I have issues, but I'm working through them. In either case, I thought I'd write in my whys because they're a bit different than what I've heard on most of your podcasts, and I thought they may help some others. Maybe just the other guys brought up old school, but more, hopefully more than just them. Question 1, what is your expectation? What are you expecting to get out of this journey? Well, let's start with what I'm not expecting. I don't think that suddenly my life will be perfect. I don't expect to be a completely different person. I don't expect that all of my problems will suddenly disappear. My weight gain in most cases was a symptom, not a cause. Bottom line, I'm not expecting miracles. What I am expecting, though, I'm expecting to feel better. If nothing else, at least physically. I'm expecting that the weight loss and the healthier living will open doors to opportunities to enjoy life more fully. It's hard to be happy when your own body drastically limits what you can do. What do I want? What I don't want, I had a nephew die of a drug overdose. My brother Sam set up Teddy's first intervention when he was 16. There were others along the way. Some worked for some time, some didn't. My nephew was almost 30 when he died. I got the call from my oldest brother, not my nephew's father, in the middle of the night. The conversation went something like this. I'm at Sam's house. I could tell from his tone that it was bad. Teddy, my nephew didn't live with my brother at that point, but I knew anyways. And yes, I can explain how I felt in that moment. Is he dead? It was a crazy question, but I asked it anyways, knowing the answer before my brother replied. And yes, he said, and the finality of his one-word answer echoed and resonated through me on so many levels. I'm on my way. The worst part, though, I wasn't surprised. It bothered me that I wasn't surprised, but mostly because I realized that I'd been expecting the call for years. Well, that's what I don't want. I don't want to have a heart attack or a stroke and one day and people say, well, yeah, I've been expecting that for years. What I do want, well, this one's simple. I want to try option one of what Andy said in the Shawshank Redemption. Get busy living or get busy dying. I've already spent years doing the other part of that saying. Well, sort of anyways. Question number 2 is, do you believe you can get there? Okay, well, so this one's a little trickier than it sounds because it depends on what you mean by there. Do I think I can reach goal? Yeah, yes. I'm confident I can, despite never having done that in the past. The problem is, I'm not at all confident I can stay there and keep the weight off. Your podcasts have been helping me with that because they talk about maintenance and I'm starting to understand. This is just a funny aside. It's weird how you relate things to your own experiences. I used to play a video game almost religiously. In these types of games, your first real goal, other than staying alive, is to get to maximum level. You put all of your effort and all of your time into leveling your character, sometimes hundreds of hours. The problem is that once you get there, you realize you've only just begun. Now that you're at maximum level, you're back to being the new guy. And you have to learn a completely different twist to the skill set that you've gained from leveling up, and if you want to excel at the next part of the game and raid. Here's another interesting point. You can level by yourself. Oh, it's easier with a team, but you don't really need one. You can't raid by yourself. You'd be amazed at how many people start leveling another character rather than learning something new or finding a team. That's how I'm thinking about losing weight versus maintenance. Right now, I'm just leveling myself up until I'm strong enough to begin the next part of the journey. I'm also, admittedly with some trepidation and tentativeness, looking for a team to be ready for maintenance when I get there. Yeah, I know how nerdy this sounds, but you have to admit, it fits. Question 3 is, what's stopping you from getting there? Well, excuse my bluntness, but not a damn thing. Nothing is stopping me. It's not all that hard to lose weight. I've done it plenty of times in the past. Set up a plan, follow the plan, make adjustments as necessary. Easy. Well, okay, there's the X factor that's always ruined it for me in the past. The one thing that sabotages my reaching goal and staying there, the one thing, well, isn't it obvious? It's me. I am my own worst enemy. Question 4 is, what's the hardest thing I've ever done? And hardest thing? Well, I'm not really sure. Burying my nephew and mother were certainly hard, but it's not like I did those. I just had to find a way of surviving them. Staying married for almost 30 years and raising 2 kids? Certainly hard at times, but also a pleasure often enough. Starting in football my senior year of high school? Definitely hard, considering I was somewhere around 4th string when I was a junior, and I scrapped up my back pretty bad just before practices started, but talk about trivial. Yeah, I have to go back to surviving my mom's death and coming out of the funk on the other end, or maybe just that whole year. Everyone says I'm a lot like my father, and I am. We are close, but the loss of my mom kicked my butt. I guess a large part of it was losing the unconditional love that most mothers give their kids. There were also some issues in the way that when it happened and what I feel was my part in it. That was very tough to get past. Add to that it was only half a year after I lost my nephew, and somewhere between the two, another nephew got in a bad car accident and spent a month in the ICU. And I would have to say that was the hardest year of my life. Well, and yeah, losing weight and finding a way to keep it off has to be easier than facing all of that again. Question 5 is, who is ultimately responsible? Well, if it doesn't work out, I'm blaming you. Just kidding. Me. Always me. That's it. Those are my whys. I've finally written them down, and I'm sure I'll go back to them from time to time, like you suggest. I'll probably even update them as time passes. Well, one last thing. It sounds like your life is in a little bit of a flux right now, too. Review what's happening and the decisions you're making, and filter for, how do I say this politely, over rationalization. Hey, remember, we've all been there. We don't expect you to be any more perfect than us. Hang in there and stick with the program. Regards, Gino. Gino, dude, awesome. Thanks for the note. Let's go ahead. I'll go all man on you here and get rid of the tender TLC, I believe in you, fluffy stuff, right? I'm willing to ditch it for your sake. But first, I got to give you some TLC. I got to give you a big hug for the loss of your mom and for the loss of your nephew. I don't care how tough you are, how tough I am. That stuff is just terrible. And so my heart breaks for you in that regard. And that was a crazy year. So I want to just, before I kick you in the butt, I want to say, I'm sorry, truly. And so, no, I don't want you to ever have to relive that. And yes, this journey should be significantly easier than that. But let's never ever negate that part of your life was miserable. But you made it through and you persevered, and that's what I want to go from there. Now, let's go back to the very beginning, right? Let's go all the way back to where you say, that you're still in the program. That's why you joined. That's the goal here for you, right? What you got to understand is that you're clearly capable of doing this. And so hopping in, you're right. Losing weight, I agree with you, right? And so sometimes I don't say it exactly like this because I don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to come off overconfident because this is a lifelong battle that we're in. But yeah, losing weight is easy. Waking up in the morning saying I'm not having this and planning a meal, easy. Right? And so if you want the scale to move for a couple days in a row, easy. If you want to just have some complete discipline, easy. Losing weight is easy. I said it. And I agree with you. Now, living your life as you're doing that, completely different. Yeah, I can ignore everything in my life and I can go lose weight. That's a piece of cake. Right? I can say no to every single phone invitation. I can say no to every single dinner invitation. I can say no to every single event that comes down my way and say, no, I'm sorry, I'm losing weight this year. Right? I can do that. I did it before. And so there's no reason why I have to sit there and say, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's easy. But what I love about what you said is that as you weigh in every week and the guide looks at you and congratulates you, says congratulations, you understand that, hey, wait a minute, congratulate me next January if I'm still in the program. I want to rephrase that. There is no if here. What's stopping you? Why can't you be on the program a year from now? Why can't you be on the program? Why can't you walk in January? What's stopping you from walking in January? Only you, right? It's only you that's stopping you from going there. And so as we continue to have success, you've proven before you can do it. 165 pounds, you don't do that on accident. You do that deliberately. You're down 50 pounds deliberately. It's the same model. It's the same methodology. You just do it. So what I want you to do is continue to just do it. Right? Just do it, man. Get down to 120 pounds from now. Get to your goal, and then we're going to reassess what the future looks like. Now, I'll tell you, here's what I'll give some real experience here for me, right? If you followed my journey, you've noticed that I've done some things along the way. Sure, I lost weight. That was easy. I passed my fitness test. That was easy. I decided at that point I wanted to add a little bit of accountability in it, right? So I developed a website so I'd have some accountability. At some point, that wasn't working anymore. So I said, I'll develop a podcast. I started doing a podcast every single day, right? That kept me accountable. Suddenly, that wasn't working the same way. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna meet up in the community once a month. I'm gonna run every month, and I'm gonna show up at an event. I'm gonna run a 5K. That'll keep me accountable. The reality is that didn't, because what happens is I enjoy hanging out with the folks. It's not exercise for me. It's a social event. I decided I want to be a WW coach because, hey, that'll force me to go to 2 workshops a week. Right? Well, that didn't keep me accountable. So what I'm telling you is that you're no different than me in this scenario. I can lose weight. That's a piece of cake. As I try and balance it with my life, I constantly need to add things into my journey that remind me that I have to manage this for the rest of my life. And I'm doing that. Now, sure, my scale isn't perfect right now, but I tell you, there's a lot of amazing things going on in my life that weren't going on in my life 2 years ago. And that's where I choose to put my focus and my energy and my celebration, is that I am a completely different person than I was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was completely miserable. I mean, totally miserable. I hated everything about it, minus a couple things that were going really, really good, mostly around my family. Right? My family's always been amazing, so I luckily have that on my side. But everything else was just kind of nuts. I hated putting on clothes. I hated going to events. Every time we went somewhere, nothing fit. It was miserable. Right? So now a lot of that is gone, and I have an amazing community of people that I get the opportunity to hang out with, and I celebrate every chance I get of all the amazing things that are going right in my life that I have taken charge of and done. I'm sorry for yelling, man, but I think you deserve it. And so here we go. And so you understand how to do this. You clearly do, right? And you're working through the mental side of this journey that's going to kind of keep you in the headspace that you need to be in, right? I know, I had this positivity, I had this cheerleader like mindset. You know why that is? Because I truly do believe in you. And so not in a hokey way. And so if it comes across hokey, then I need you to hear it a little bit differently right now. What I understand, Gino, is that you have the ability to do whatever it is you determine is the priority. I believe that you want this to be the priority, and I want to remind you along the way that this is the priority. And so what I know is that if I'm able to remind you daily that this is the priority, then I believe you can do whatever you set your mind to do. So what I know is my commitment to you is to remind you as often as I can you can do this. Your commitment to yourself is to listen to that and say, yeah, I can do this. So whether it's your issue or my issue, it's regardless, it doesn't matter. The truth is that you can do this, and I completely believe it. So I'm glad you took a moment to write down your whys. I think that's going to help you a little bit because here you are now. You have something to reference back of what your expectations are. You didn't come right out. I mean, you come out and said it, but you kind of glossed over it. But I want to kind of hit you on this piece, is that, and I believe this is raw and real, and you shared this from the heart, and I appreciate it. When you wrote that you don't want to have a heart attack or a stroke and have your family go, yeah, I kind of knew that's what it was, right? So I want you to prevent that. I want you now to you have the opportunity now to change the trajectory of your health. And that's what you can do. And you're well on your way. 50 pounds is a lot of work. You have clearly done that. Keep doing that. And so what you can completely do is you can completely change your life. You can completely be a different person, but you have to know that you will have to manage this for the rest of your life. Simply getting to goal is you check it off the list of things that you've done, but you instantly must add something else to an accountability train so that you have a new goal to work on. And that new goal is what keeps you in this game, because you will have to manage this for the rest of your life. That's what I mean about, and that's what we're all going through this process. That's what maintenance is all about. So, you can do this. Yeah, and you even know you can reach goals. So that's easy. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take your whys. I want you to kind of find a way to kind of write them down the way you have, but write them down in a way where you can mentally have a nugget or two every single morning that you wake up and say, hey, I'm doing this. Right? I'm waking up today. Today my goal is this. But what I want you to understand is along the way, you're going to have to make the adjustments. You're going to have to add things into your journey. So when you get to goal, you're going to have to add in a new goal of an activity, a new goal of some sort of social thing that now aligns with your new life, that does put you in a different frame of mind every single day. Gino, you totally got this, right? And so what, and I'll kind of end it on the last note that you gave. There's some over rationalization. I'll admit that, right? But again, like I said, is that I understand a little bit differently now than when I did when I hit goal. And the things that I understand is that I have found a way to live a happy, balanced, well life. And so yeah, there are days when the priority is to eat very well. There are days when that isn't the priority. And so yeah, sure, I can tighten it up, and absolutely, do I need to? Of course. But what I understand more than anything is it is a lifelong journey that I'm balancing, and right now there are some significant things that I haven't shared with you that are going on with my life that I have to kind of adjust newly to. But boy, am I proud that I wake up every single morning attempting to do it. Just like you will in January when you say, yeah, I'm still here. You may not know what the answer looks like when you get there, but as long as you're there, man, that's a whole different world to be in. So go do something new. Go find a new thing to celebrate. Go find a new thing to add to your list of things that you do that who are now who you are. And the more you add to it, the better off you get. So, Gino, congratulations, dude. I love your email, man. And so, man to man, mano to a mano, dude, your life is valuable. What you provide to your family, what you provide to your extended family. There's only one of you, man. Right? And I want that one of you to be here for as long as possible. And I don't want that one of you to kind of give up early on this. But we do know that we're going to really have to kind of work at this for the rest of our lives. The good news is, dude, I'm not going anywhere. The good news is I'm going to be here with you every single step of the way. You know why? Because I'm going to give you a big old man hug and say, I believe in you. I believe in you. Go get it done, Gino. Dude, thanks for writing in. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to get it done. And, dude, keep me posted, all right? I'm curious. I want to know, and I want to help however I can. Next email comes in out of Rockledge, Florida. Beth writes in and says, hey there. My name is Beth. It will be 3 years in November that I decided to change my life. It's hard work for me to think of how to start this. I wasn't super thin growing up, but I wasn't overweight either. I guess if I had to say when my weight struggles began, it was probably when I started having kids. Hard to say why or for what reason, but my guess is I lost myself somewhere between my husband, kids, and work. I tried numerous times on WW to lose weight. I would lose some, but not finish, and I would go back heavier than before. If you asked me 2.5 years ago if I thought I would lose 132 pounds, I would have either laughed or cried. Laughed because no way I believed it was possible, or cried because 132 pounds is completely overwhelming. My story began in November. Stressed and overwhelmed, I decided to do one thing for me. My journey literally started with a walk. Once I was walking consistently, I added strength training. A few weeks later, I increased my water. It's important to note, I have no idea how much I weighed when I started my journey because it took me 3 weeks or so to step on the scale. My friend convinced me by telling me that the number didn't change anything, that the people who love me, they would love me even if they knew the number. I was 315 pounds at the time, so I'm estimating I was around 325 when I started. After I stepped on the scale, I thought long and hard about what to do if I was serious about losing weight. I made a decision to join WW January 1st. January 1st, I walked into the door of WW. My starting weight was 306.8 pounds. I remember the receptionist saying, we all have to start somewhere. I had a hard time with WW at first because looking around the room, I was still the biggest one there. I had more points than anyone. I was ashamed I'd let my weight get so bad, and I wanted the weight gone as soon as possible. Admittedly, I ate less points than I was allotted. I tracked everything. I had a Fitbit to track every step, and in the month of February, I lost 4 pounds. I remember sitting in that workshop crying to my coach that I was doing everything right and still not losing. She said something that changed my life. She told me I was so focused on losing the weight that I was forgetting to live my life. After the meeting, I took off my Fitbit. I started trying to create a life I love so much that I never want to go back to where I was at. I've been through a lot on my journey. You figure out rather quickly there will always be birthdays and celebrations and challenges, but I wasn't prepared for the challenges I had in June when I hurt my knee. All I could think is, I'll go back to my old habits. But oddly enough, I didn't. I think a lot of being successful is not only putting the work in with food, it's putting the mental work in as well. When I started, my why was because I wanted pretty clothes. 10 months later, I realized my why is because I matter. I'm not more important than anyone else, but somehow I matter. I learned that instead of hating the girl in the before pictures, I should love her because she was strong enough to try again. I learned that the thought of losing 100 pounds could bring me to tears. If I just focused on following my program for one day, I could do this. Most importantly, I've learned I'm not a quitter. I found a passion for running. I walked my first half marathon. It took me 4 hours, 17 minutes, but I did it. 18 months later, I ran it in a run-walk intervals in 2 hours, 38 minutes. I decided to complete a marathon to celebrate 100 pounds lost. Truth be told, I didn't quite hit 100 pounds, but I was close. My life has changed so much since I started this. I've noticed better eating habits from my kids, but more importantly, it's helped me figure out what's important. As of today, I have lost 132 pounds on WW. I saw my doctor on Monday to discuss a goal, and although I'm 10 pounds above the WW goal, he said I really need to focus on maintaining, and he wrote me a note. I wish I could say I don't struggle with anything, but I do, because although I don't recognize myself as a person in the before pictures, I don't really recognize myself in the pictures now either. Well, so there it is, a somewhat condensed version of my weight loss journey. I tell this story because if it helps one person believe they can do this, I feel like I will have paid a debt to the person who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Wow, isn't that powerful? That's what we're all after. We're after the exact same feeling that Beth has, is that, when we start this journey, it's common and natural for us not to necessarily believe in ourselves. And there's a lot of shame, and there's a lot of, whatever guilt or whatever the term you want to use, that how do we let ourselves get here? But none of that matters. The fact that you started is where you need to start the celebration. And you recognize that, Beth. And so I'm very, very proud of you in that sense, because what you understood is that as soon as you start loving yourself, no matter where you're at in the journey, the second you start loving yourself, the world completely changes. You completely matter. And when I want to disagree with you on a point where you say you're not any more special than anyone else. Well, that's a complete line. You totally are. You're the most special person in your life, right? There isn't a single person in your entire life that's more important than you. So celebrate that aspect of it. You completely matter. Not only do you matter to you, you matter to your entire family. So, just keep up the amazing work. And I think what your coach said, which really completely changed your life, is something that I've noticed to be true as well. Right? And we just talked about it with Gino. Losing weight in some instances is easy. Following the plan is easy if we don't live our life. If that is the only thing in our life that we're doing, that becomes easy. It's the football games, the baseball games, the social engagements, the dinner parties, the Easter, Halloween, Christmas, all those things. That's what makes the journey kind of challenging. But if you're sitting on Easter dinner and you're eating oranges and bananas and that's your Easter dinner, well, sure, you can lose weight, but are you really truly enjoying your life? Maybe, maybe not. I'm projecting here a little bit, but my guess is no. If you sit down for Thanksgiving dinner and every single person's having turkey and stuffing and potatoes, and you say, that's great, but I'm going to have a grilled chicken breast, and that's all you have, is it truly a Thanksgiving meal? Again, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but there's a fine line between living your life and over-stressing about following the plan to a T. I want you to be balanced in a wellness. And so wellness to me now incorporates a balance of living a healthy, happy life. Now, it certainly is an adjustment, because my old life would celebrate something every single day. My new life doesn't. Somewhere in the middle is a perfect balance of me having to say, not today, but how about tomorrow? Sometimes I get it wrong, right? But the point is I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm constantly adjusting, and so that's where I believe your coach was getting to. And I'm proud to see you off with the Fitbit, out it comes, and you say, no, I'm just gonna do what's right. That led to you running a marathon, running a half marathon, 2 hours, 38 minutes. That's no joke. You can't do that without training. You can't do that without really giving it some sort of effort along the way, which you've completely changed your life to do it. So you've got this thing figured out. When you started looking at 132 pounds as the goal, I get that it's intimidating. Right? So I don't ask you to focus on what your goal weight should be. I ask you to make choices that align with a new life. I ask you to make choices that now bring some freedom and some responsibility and some focus and discipline to your life where you can completely enjoy all aspects of it. So you started the perfect way, and you're still there, it sounds like. You started with what we call attendance goals. You literally started with a walk. Every single day, go for a walk. And so one of the things I want everyone to who's listening to do is find a way to set some sort of attendance goal. Find an activity that you can do every single day and do it every single day. Now, it's not something that should make you break out in a sweat, but it's clearly also not something where you can't repeat it 7 days in a row. It's something so simple as walk to the mailbox and back every day. And when your calendar starts giving you more time, and when you feel like that's not far enough, well, walk to the end of the street and back. But do it every single day. It does us no good to do the Navy SEAL cardio kickboxing workout once, and then we have to take a month off from activity because we can't move because every single muscle in our body hurts. Right? That doesn't build up any habit of exercise. So the attendance goal, where you said you just started with a walk, that is what's led you exactly where you're at. I'm incredibly proud of you. January 1st, walking in the door to WW, it's the hardest thing that many of us have ever done. Sorry, maybe not the hardest. It's a very difficult decision to walk in and say, help. It's not easy, but you did it. So when it comes to this journey, I believe in a lot of cases, that's one of the hardest things we're going to have to do is actually commit to changing our life. So continue to put in the work, continue to do the mental work, continue to do all the things that you're doing, because what you do is now is you found a new way to live, right? You found that passion for running. Your life, as you said, has changed so much that you started that you've even noticed better eating habits from your children. We've talked about that time and time and time again, that what happens is people watch your success. People are watching you. And when you start enjoying life differently, people get jealous. People really want a piece of it. And so they may not admit it out loud, but they certainly are going to start emulating and doing what you're doing. Imitation, as we know, is the most sincerest form of flattery. Right? So as you watch, your kids are now making better choices because they see how happy you are. They see how healthy you are. And that's what they want their life to be. Now, I agree with you. We're going to always, I don't say struggle. It's not the word I use, but I understand it in that definition. We're going to always have to manage this. For the rest of our lives, we're going to have to put in the effort to maintain an awareness of what it is we've done, what it is that we're trying to do. You will get to a point where, you may not recognize the old pictures and you may not recognize the current pictures, but what you understand is you recognize internally that you are doing the hard work to completely change your life. I'm so glad that you wrote in because one of the most awesome things that we have is that we have the responsibility to our community to share our journey, and we share it so raw and so pure that other people go, okay, yeah, I get it. I can do this too. So thank you for writing in. Congratulations on hitting a goal weight with your doctor. Checking in with your doctor is very, very important. I'm super duper proud of you for doing that. 132 pounds. You did that. And now you get to maintain that for the rest of your life. And you do that by by a little bit of running here, a little bit of running there, and just completely doing the things now that your new life is now completely built to do. Thanks for writing in, and continue to do amazing work. Continue to stay focused, and just continue to celebrate every single step of the way. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's go ahead and share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com. Click on the Wise Advice podcast link. Send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be very proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing. Every single email that comes in this inbox it's just beaming with pride. At some point, I can see the positivity in it, and I love, love, love sharing them with our community. So thank you always for writing in. Go ahead and send it in on air at fatdag.com. But that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. On behalf of my producers, Heather and Lisa, we wish you good focus. Whoop, whoop. Just like that. 268 done. Whew. Isn't that fun? Sorry, I forgot the microphone is where we talk to you. I love when we have, people who just get real raw with the email. It's just, man, it's so powerful. So Laurel, Mississippi, good evening. Denise checks in. Coletta is in Rockford, Illinois. Very nice. Let's see, what else is over there? Very cool. All right. Yeah, so that was fun. Episode 268 in the books. I'll put that in the app tonight. It should be out ready for you when you guys wake up first thing in the morning. So very, very cool. Rest of the week for me, super crazy. It's a crazy week as well, but I'm glad we got a show in tonight. It's always fun to do that. So Betty says, good night. Great podcast, Fat Egg. Thank you very much. Cool. It looks like there's a little conversation going on here. So, all right. Let me go ahead and get this published. I want to get this out in the air so you guys have it. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for stepping up as part of the Patreon community for sure. Man, we're completely changing lives here. We're completely getting it done. And you guys are an incredible part of that. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So on that note, thank you guys for being here. Have a great night. I wish you good focus. Bye-bye. Be good.